Has Bitcoin bottomed? That is the question of the day. And it's going to be a very important question to answer for this week coming up, right? Yesterday we've had some more downwards price action for Bitcoin. It has gone all the way down to about 81,000, right? Quite a bit of reversal signals here. I mentioned that there was a breakdown of a bear flag on the daily time frame last week. That was the topic for last week because that was before the breakdown, but since the breakdown, it has actually reached its target and some more, which was at about 82,000. Price action came all the way back down to about 81,000 ish, right? Quite a bit of reversal signals here on a shorter time frame, which is the hourly time frame. Looking at the RSI, we're getting lower lows, but with higher lows on the RSI. That is bullish divergence, right? I talked about paying attention to the hourly time frame because it was a fresh breakdown. So we're looking at basically a new trend here, and seeing if the price action could reverse against the breakdown and see if it could actually rebound and come back to where it was, right? And we'll see from there. So right now, so based on last night's price action here, it's Monday morning here. So based on last night's price action, it looked like it was still trying to find a bottom, because it just kept setting lower lows, right? Until right here, where we had the bottom at about 81.4, 81.5. Some signs of a bottom here because now we're looking at a higher high, right? At least we're looking at this hourly candle here comparing to the previous high on the way down. So that is at least a good short-term sign here. And we're seeing higher highs as well since it has bottomed, right? We're getting a higher high here versus the previous high on this hourly candle that was right before it. Now, let's see if it can continue setting higher highs here on this hourly time frame. But like I mentioned, I think the level to be reclaiming back for the bulls would be at about 85,000 ish, right? With an hourly candle close, right? On a shorter time frame, that is what I'm looking for. An hourly candle close above the 85,000, 86,000, 85 to 86,000, right? So I'm looking at this level. That was the breakdown of the bear flag, right? If we can actually claim a hourly candle close there, that means we're actually, claiming back the support we have actually broke down from. So that's a very good sign on the short term. And of course, we're looking at this orange line here, which is the hourly 200 SMA, which is also very important in the shorter time frame. Now let's come up here to the longer time frame here. We are still underneath. Well, we're still, you know, in the range of the daily 200 SMA, right? I mean, I would still say we're consolidating, around the daily 200 SMA. So very important. This is the divide between being in a bull market or being in a bear market. If we're under it, we're in a bear market. You guys can Google that, right? I didn't make that up. But we're very much in the range of the daily 200 SMA, right? In my opinion, we're not like solidly underneath the daily 200, right? We have been consolidating around it for a little bit, for quite a few days, right? Since March 10th, right? And then we have all the daily moving averages basically, coming together here, the 21, 50, 200 SMA, all within that very tight zone here. So this is the zone for Bitcoin to break out of in order to see some longer term upside here, right? So that's what I'm looking at. Let's come to the 3-day time frame here because I mentioned that yesterday, right? This is also very important. That's going to be closing in about 8 hours, right? This is important because in the last 3-day candle, that was the higher low, right? If we can actually within the next 8 hours or so, and produce a green candle here and still keep that higher low, that is going to be a very subtle but still a pretty significant uh, bullish indicator here on this 3-day time frame. Now, so that's basically what I'm looking for. Of course, these are just my opinions and speculations. None of this is financial advice, right? You got to do your own logic, research before you do anything, right? You definitely don't want to just be following someone and what they do on the internet. That would be a terrible, terrible way of trading, investing, right? So this is basically what I'm looking at. Of course, also got to consider the downside, right? The downside is, if Bitcoin continues down lower, right, and starts setting lower lows again on this hourly time frame. Like I said, the level that we're going to be looking out for in terms of support, if we break below the 80,000 level, is going to be the weekly 50 SMA, which is currently at about almost 77,000 now. Okay, it has moved just a little bit, right? Also very important to be paying attention to the stock market because there is a high correlation between the S&P 500 futures and Bitcoin, right? So, for the S&P 500, it has actually gone down to the weekly 50 SMA already, which is the gray line. So, I was still consider a possibility that Bitcoin comes down to the weekly 50 SMA. I'm not going to rule it completely out, okay? Nothing in this market is 100%. I have to gauge, the probabilities of something happening and the flip side as well. So that is still definitely a possibility, and I would be, carefully risk managing if that scenario happening. So that is what I'm looking at. Now let's take a look into the hourly time frame here for the S&P 500, right? I mean, yeah, it looks like it has been here for a little while. There are quite a bit of bullish indicators here as well, as it has been setting lower lows on the hourly time frame, but with higher lows on the RSI, and that's bullish divergence. And let's see where this bounce could take the price action, right? So very important to be paying attention to the S&P 500. I remember it was a pretty bloody morning earlier, right? When I was just sleeping and I'm seeing the market just on the reds. I think the S&P 500 went down to as low as about 55, just right above 5,500 there. And yeah, so that's basically what I'm looking at. Very important to be paying attention to what's going on here. I did mention that I put in a small leverage position for Jasmy yesterday because it was a bigger altcoin. And my reasoning for going into Jasmy is because I think it's all the altcoins are highly correlated with Bitcoin, but Jasmy is a bigger altcoin. Not that I favor in any way. I don't know its fundamentals at all, just be honest. But I'm just looking at the chart here. And I put in a small leverage position that I still have since yesterday. Right? Still have it. And I'm going to see how that plays out. Because in the short term, I don't know how low it's going to go, right? But it looks like it's got some bullish indicators here. But in the longer term, at least until, through the end of this year, I think I'm still bullish right now, unless the chart shows me otherwise. That's the chart. That's the job of me being a trader. A profitable trader is, I have to be able to switch my opinions based on what the chart gives me. And I will be here, almost every day, and I'll share my thoughts with you. So do let me know what you guys think of the market right now, right? Are you guys bullish, bearish? Like the video, and make sure to subscribe. I will see you guys next time.